Hi, my name is Heather Doyle, and I'm a mom to 3 boys. As a parent, my primary concern is always my children's safety. All parents just want to keep their children safe. Yet, one of the most dangerous things that U.S. children do daily is ride in a car. According to the American Association of Pediatrics, motor vehicle crashes remain the leading cause of death for children 4 years and older. That's why I want to talk to you today about how keeping your child rear-facing until he or she maxes out both height and weight limits for their car seat has been shown to be the safest method for riding in a vehicle. In science, as you gain new information, you can develop new technologies that lead to new and better standards of what is considered best. The same is true for car seat safety. I'm sure we can all find a photo of our parents driving around with us when we were children, or their parents driving around with them when they were children, and we look at these car seats that they used, and we know there's no way we would use that for our children now, because it's not what is safest. In 2011, the American Association of Pediatrics published a policy that created a large beneficial impact on car seat safety. The policy stated that children should be rear-facing until at least 2 years of age. And from this policy, manufacturers developed innovative products that allowed children to remain rear-facing until they reached 40 pounds or more. Also, 15 states enacted laws that require children to remain rear-facing until age 2. However, again, these standards of what is considered best have evolved. And now, just 9 years later, the American Association of Pediatrics recommends do not go off of age. Safety standards should be based off of height and weight of your child. And the safest method for riding in a vehicle is for your child to remain rear-facing until he or she reaches both height and weight limits of their seat. Also, the laws of physics do not care about the laws of states. For example, I live in a state where it is not a law to keep your child rear-facing until age 2. And as a first-time mom, going off of information from my previous generations, I did not realize how much safer it was for your child to be rear-facing. So at 1, I switched my oldest child from rear-facing to front-facing. We were involved in a car collision. Thankfully, my child was okay. But as a worried first-time parent at that, in her first car wreck with her child, I started doing research on what actually was the safest. And that's when I came across the American Association of Pediatrics recommendations for car seat safety, and how rear-facing increases their chances of safety in the vehicle exponentially. The benefits of keeping your child rear-facing are that during a frontal collision, babies and young children who are front-facing have a greater risk of injury to their spinal cord. Versus rear-facing car seats, they spread the frontal crash forces over the whole area of a child's back, neck, and head. This prevents the head from snapping relative to the body in a frontal crash. Babies and toddlers, if you don't know, their vertebrae are only connected via cartilage rather than ossified bone like in adults. And the extension experienced by young children and babies in frontal collisions who are front-facing can actually lead to the severing of their spinal cord, which is called internal decapitation and causes death. Now, I'm going to show you a video of a test crash that was performed by the University of Michigan. In this video, you have a rear-facing child and a front-facing child who experiences a frontal collision. You can see the difference in the amount of extension versus the spread of the force and how it affects the child. I'm going to switch you around to that now. So here is that video. As you can see, there is one child who is front facing. There is another child who is rear facing. Let's keep your eye on the front facing child first, as they are the most easiest to see. When this collision happens, you can see how their body is extended forward. You can see the snap back of their head, and that is what leads to the internal decapitation, versus the rear-facing child who remains in their seat relatively unaffected. This is because in the rear-facing car seat, that crash force is spread out evenly amongst the child versus remaining only in their neck and spinal cord. Now, there are several myths surrounding rear facing, especially extended rear facing. Some of these involve, my child is too big, or their legs are all squished. But purchasing seats with larger height and weight limits allow you to happily rear face your child who is either on the larger side or maybe getting older. Some examples of car seats that won't be maxed out by your child until they reach 40 pounds and 43 inches are the Graco Grow For Me, the Chico Fit 4, and the Even Flow Every 4 Fit. The Graco Extend to Fit actually does not get maxed out until the child reaches 50 pounds and 49 inches. To give you some context, a 4-year-old boy who is in the 95th percentile for weight is around 40 pounds. And a 4-year-old boy who is in the 95th percentile for height is around 43 inches. So all of these car seats that I've just listed, even if your child is in the 95th percentile, these seats would allow him or her to remain rear facing until age 4. Another concern is the extended rear-facing car seats are expensive. And while some may be on the pricier side, there are plenty of options that are inexpensive, such as the Costco Sonera Next, which allows rear-facing for up to 40 pounds and 40 inches, and it's under $50. This car seat would easily get an average child to be able to rear face until age 3 or possibly 4. Now, you may be asking, well, what about rear end collisions? You only really talked about frontal. And that's true, but this is because rear end crashes only account for 4% of crashes, and they typically occur at lower speeds, which result in less serious injuries compared to the frontal collisions. Also, the injuries that are typically sustained in a rear crash occur to adults who have insufficient neck support, so things like whiplash, which can actually even occur to your front-facing child, as we saw in the video done by University of Michigan, where we can see the extension that is allowed by a front-facing child versus a rear-facing child. Again, the rear end force would just be spread across their back, neck, and head area. I hope you're able to take the information I've given you today and put your child in the safest possible environment for them to ride in a car and experience the same peace of mind that I've achieved by knowing that extending rear-facing my children keeps them as safe as possible in our day-to-day lives. Thank you.